All right, guys, the Utah Jazz lose game 1 to the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is Hanson James. This is the SLC Dunk post-game show. That was a good opener for some reasons for the Jazz. Obviously, it's a loss. So you're disappointed if you're a Jazz fan. If you're a Thunder fan, obviously you're excited. There's some things to be excited about if you're, not excited, but to have hope for in this game. After having played the Thunder, who looked really good, by the way. Well, I should say that Paul George looked really good. Paul George was a monster for the Thunder, and he said playoff P was coming, and he was right. Paul George was unstoppable in this game, and some of that was just was Paul George being amazing, and some of that was the Jazz who need to make some sort of adjustment or need to do some things to keep that from happening again, because it was ridiculous. So Paul George in this game, he shot, I believe it was, let's pull it up just so we're accurate. He was 8 for 11 from 3. He shot 72% from 3. He took 11 threes, made 8 of them. If you're hitting that percentage from 3, you're going to win. But if someone is hitting that percentage of 3, there are some things that need to change. You need to find a way to keep him from shooting the ball. You need to just keep him from shooting the 3, and there's 2 ways to do it. You keep him from getting the ball so that he cannot, because if you're getting a flamethrower on you, you've got to put out the flame somehow, and sometimes that's by keeping the ball from going to Paul George, who's murdering you. One of those plays that absolutely drove me nuts, and it was a player that really struggled tonight. I know he ended up with 13 points, but Joe Ingles, do not flop to try to get an offensive foul, because what happened on that play, Joe Ingles flops, it ended up in a Paul George three-pointer. The worst thing you can do in this game is allow Paul George to shoot the ball, let alone set his feet and just take a wide-open three-pointer. That was terrible. You can't do that. So the Jazz need to adjust in this game. They need to stop Paul George from, getting the ball, because he's their best player. Tonight proved it. If you disagree, I don't know what to tell you, because he was a monster tonight. And this was the Paul George that helped Indiana win games in the East, and he did it tonight against the Jazz. Second, do not let him shoot a 3. This is the amount of space. Let's see. This is the amount of space you give Paul George when he has the ball at the three-point line. If he wants to go to the rim, you let him. You know why? Because you have Rudy Gobert behind you. Let him deal with Rudy Gobert. And if he has to take a pull-up two-pointer, win. That's amazing. And Royce O'Neal, I don't know, Royce, you've got to get on him. And I know you don't want to foul. You've got to find a way to keep him from shooting the ball, or at least get him contested, because he was just pulling up from 3 and making it. And some of that is just I trust Quinn. I know Quinn is going to game plan for this. They're going to watch this and say, this is why we lost. There were some other things we'll talk about, that the Jazz let happen, but one of those was Paul George. And sometimes that happens too. Sometimes Paul George just shoots 72% from 3, and there's not a lot you can do. But Ingles had to play better, and this could be that just being outmatched by Paul George, because they put Paul George on Joe Ingles the whole game, and he made Joe Ingles look pretty pedestrian at times. He was not able to get the ball. Ingles was not able to enforce his will at all. Paul George completely dominated that matchup. And so the Jazz got to do something if they're going to guard Joe Ingles with Paul George and have Corey Brewer on Donovan Mitchell needs to feast. The other thing that did not go well for the Jazz, Ricky Rubio shot, and this was something we were a little worried about, but Ricky Rubio shot 5 for 18 for 27%. 0 for 3 from 3. He did have 7 rebounds and 5 assists, which is great. He had 4 steals. Awesome stuff. There were some shots, though, that Ricky was taking that you're just like, you don't need to take that, Ricky. Go to the rim. Ricky, those 5 shots, I swear those were those ones where he went to the rim. But he, at the beginning of the game, missed 3 in a row where it was this long 2-point shot. And it was just like, don't take it. It's just going to knock. If it goes in, great, but you went 5 for 18, so the Jazz can't do that. Can't take that shot. And that's not Rubio's shot. He's been making his shot, but that wasn't his spot. Like we've all of you have watched, this post game with me. All of you guys are watching the game. We all know where Ricky's spot is. It's that little corner shot. But he was like 5 feet back. And so I don't know if that was the Thunder taking that away or if it was Rubio just kind of having this first game. It's his first playoff game. So maybe he's just freaking out a little bit. But he was not shooting from his spots. So much of what happens with NBA players is just getting to your spots where you make your shot. And Rubio has that little corner spot right next to the paint, right kitty corner from the paint. And it's a pretty high percentage shot for him. And he was not taking it. Like, that's the thing. It's not that Ricky Rubio was shooting terrible. He was not shooting the shots from where he's supposed to be shooting them. Whether it's at the rim, at that little corner, on the block, or a spot up 3-point shot. And he just wasn't really getting those. And the 3-point shots he took, they didn't go in. He took one long three, too. I think Rubio just had his first playoff game, and he'll calm down. That's the thing. Rubio's been actually shooting really well, 45% from three, and I don't expect him to shoot that. But he's been actually shooting pretty decent, and I actually thought he guarded pretty well. 4 steals shows you he guarded well. He just needs, if it's not your shot, don't take it. And the Jazz need to do a better job of enforcing their offense so they get the shots that they like. The Jazz came out on fire. It looked like it might be a runaway freight train. And then we played Jonas Jerebko, and Carmelo Anthony ate him for lunch, which is just like, how does that happen? And it wasn't the same from then on. I don't know if Jonas plays again this series. That defensive sequence from Jonas was disastrous. That was like 8 points. I was like honestly screaming at the TV to pull him. I love Jonas, and when he's hitting that corner three, he's a weapon. But man, if you're getting blown by Carmelo Anthony at this point in Anthony's career, I don't know how he plays. Honestly, I don't know how he plays. Steven Lorscher, Rudy kept Mr. Adams under wraps. Rudy did a good job. Anyone who thinks Rudy didn't do a good job is incorrect. Rudy did a great job. Adams is like Aquaman in there, or like Khal Drogo, and Rudy guarded him. Rudy's a Titan and did a good job guarding him, but Adams was just a beast, and so Rudy negated him pretty darn well. Let's see Steven Adams shot 4 for 9, had 0, let's see, and 7 rebounds. Rudy was incredible. This was not Rudy. Anyone who says anything about Rudy, tell them they are incorrect. Rudy did a good job. Steven Adams is all-star level center, so Rudy did a great job. Brandon Whiteside, more AB. Guys, no. I like that AB hit those shots. AB is not going to help the Jazz win. He will actively make them lose. There is a reason that he did not play and does not play, guys. I was excited as you. The funniest thing ever would have been Alec Burks getting us back in the game, but Alec Burks is just a terrible defensive player and doesn't play within the offense. He just doesn't, and his percentages are not good. I get some of the love with AB. At this point, no. Rudy shouldn't leave Adams. Adams is too good. Adams did not do well, guys. Rudy did great. Less threes, more layups. Exum and Burks tore them up. Exum had a great game, by the way. That's exciting. I think Exum got some confidence, and Exum got the thing that's going to be exciting coming up is Exum versus Raymond Felton is advantage Jazz. And I hope Exum figured that out. There was that one play where Exum had a turnover, and I didn't feel like it was Exum's fault. Like, we have Exum in isolation. Come set a pick. Set a pick. Bill Frederick, free throws killed us. Jonas killed us. Paul George killed us, but Jonas did not help with that defense on Carmelo Anthony. You are right. That was killer. Bill Hedrick, big ups to Donovan for going for 27. Hopefully his foot is okay and he had a double-double. I was scared to death that this was over, that he had a broken foot or something. Donovan's a warrior. You know he's coming back. This ain't no George Hill stuff where you have a toe hurt. This is Donovan Mitchell warrior stuff. We got players who want to play. My throat hurts from screaming at the TV during the game. That's right, Bill Hedrick. Big time from Donovan Mitchell. Let's just finish with Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell was incredible. He's unbelievable. This is his first year in the NBA, and he's going to the playoffs. It took Gordon Hayward, 6 years, 7 years? Unbelievable. First year, goes to the playoffs. And I know he had help from Rudy Gobert, because Rudy Gobert is incredible. Rudy Gobert was really good this game, guys. He had a couple turnovers that drove me crazy. That one turnover where it got taken up under the hoop, Rudy's got to do the Tim Duncan. Rudy's got to do this a little bit sometimes. I swear he gets stripped so often. But Donovan Mitchell is a superstar. And we get year one, he makes the playoffs. We are so blessed to have Donovan Mitchell. He's incredible. He is absolutely electric, and he is the guard we need to get points in playoff games like this. I felt like the Jazz actually played pretty well. They just, Paul George was insane. If Paul George shoots 40%, that means he probably makes 3 less threes. That's 9 points. And this was an 8-point game. The Jazz have some things they need to lock down, and they need to adjust, and they will. And that's why I have hope for this game, because they did a great job on Russell Westbrook. And Rudy did a good job on Steven Adams. And Carmelo Anthony's not going to be as effective as he was today. Carmelo Anthony's been a train wreck, and today he was pretty good. So that's why there's a lot of things for Jazz fans to be excited about. There were things that did not go well. There's some things they can adjust to. And Paul George just going crazy. I mean, the focus is to kill the head of the snake, and that head of the snake is Paul George. We're finding out that the Thunder are a scorpion. And it's not that hard to get those big pincers, but Paul George is that pincer, man. Holy smokes. Gordon was always overrated. That is why. Gordon is overrated. He's a good player. He's a really good player, and I would prefer him be on the team because it's, he's very good talent, but he's overrated. Quinn will make some adjustments. Game 2 will be better. Absolutely. Quinn's a smart guy, and he will watch the film. I promise you he's not going to sleep. He's going to have game plans to start, and I hope the Jazz come out and impose some things on the Thunder. It felt like the Jazz were ready and kind of anticipated what the Thunder were and actually did a good job. It's just Paul George. They've got to do something for Paul George. Absolutely. Today was a wake-up call. And I also was happy for today for Donovan Mitchell and Ricky Rubio and Royce O'Neal to kind of get a flavor of playoff basketball. This is good. Imagine if this was game 1 in Utah and Paul George shoots 72% from 3. That'd be crazy. It's kind of like a blessing in disguise. We got the road loss out of the way, get that first playoff loss out of the way. Because now the Jazz are going to be able to game plan. If they can steal one in game 2, becomes a crazy series for the Jazz. And then they come back to Utah with that crowd and that adrenaline and that energy from the Salt Lake fans. There's things to be really excited about and things to be positive about if you're a Jazz fan. Now, if Paul George continues to shoot 72% from 3, the Jazz are in trouble, But you know what else? There were too many corner threes that were given up. As a team, the Oklahoma City Thunder shot 48% from 3. 48%. That's tough. And a lot of those were corner threes. And the Jazz cannot allow players like Alex Abrinas, who is a sharpshooter, to shoot from the corner. It's the easiest and most efficient, best shot in the game. And they will fix that. Because honestly, even tonight with Paul George shooting that percentage from 3, if you close up the stuff from Carmelo Anthony and guard him a little better, and if you keep those Alex Abrinas corner threes from happening, this is a different game. Even with Paul George going nuts, and Joe Ingles, who honestly, Paul George took him out of the game. 13 points. He was actually 5 for 9, relatively efficient, but he had 1 assist. Joe Ingles was averaging 7 or 8 assists coming into this game post All-Star break, something like that. So that's a lot of points that we weren't able to get from Joe Ingles. And so that's kind of smart from the Thunder to kind of say, hey, we know Donovan Mitchell's great, but we're going to take away your other player that kills a lot of teams, and that's Joe Ingles. So they've got to find a way. The Jazz got to do some things to make some shots. Rubio's got to make shots. They've got to find a way to get Ingles to get some more pick and rolls going with Derek Favors, because that will win games. They've got to get the ball to Ingles, and Ingles has got to fight to get that ball. He's got to fight for it. This is playoffs. So anyways, things to adjust for the Jazz. For the Thunder, I don't know. Honestly, Rudy contained Adams and did a good job on Westbrook. Westbrook was not very efficient, Westbrook scored 29 points, but that took 25 shots. That's pretty good. That's really good. That's 10 for 25. If you're the Jazz, you take that. He shot 9 for 9 from the free throw line. 13 rebounds, 8 assists. I mean, Russ was really good, but at the same time, I feel like Russ didn't kill us. It was Paul George. You'll take that from Russ. If he's shooting 10 for 25, things are going well. So And Russ was also a -1 for the game. Interesting. So anyways, guys, make sure like and subscribe this. Like and subscribe SLC Dunk, SLC Punks podcast on iTunes. Go search that and follow that. Make sure you share this with your friends. Go Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Follow SLC Dunk all over the place. Because it's playoff time. Go read all the articles. We got so many playoff articles there for you to read. Go read them all. Also, a new Rudy Gobert and the Defensive Player of the Year award coming out soon. New video. Anyways, guys, I'll talk to you later.